Y'all, it's a new year, and it feels like a lot of new things are happening. And I'm ready to catch up. Y'all, it's been too long. Let's get into it. This is Looking for My Fit.
Looking for my feet, looking for my fit, yeah. Looking for my feet, looking for my feet, yeah. Looking for my feet, looking for my fit, yeah. Looking for my feet, looking for my fit, yeah.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Looking for My Fit podcast. My name is Jamika, and I am so happy that you have tuned in yet again. And I'm happy to be back, y'all. It has been 4 months since I posted an episode, and it's time for us to get back in here. It's time to get consistent again. It's time for us to catch up, talk about all the things that we have going. And y'all, I'm happy to tell you I'm not doing this by myself today. I have a very she is one of my favorite people in the entire world. And I have a few. They're all related to me. 3 of them were grown in my body. And the first one is the guest today. Welcome to the Looking for My Fit podcast for her second time, Jordan Richardson.
Hey y'all.
Oh, okay. You look cute on camera, girl. You look cute.
Thanks.
So if you're not watching, if you're listening, you should go to YouTube, even if that's not the format you normally watch, and just look at it. She looks so cute over there. Jordan, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for agreeing to be a guest. So for those of you who've been listening for a while, let me just do a quick introduction. Jordan is one of our 3 children. She is the oldest. She is 17, and she is getting ready to graduate from high school in June. And I have very mixed emotions about this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tell y'all now, I'm gonna cry at some point on this podcast. Just go ahead and know I'm gonna try to so that you can still understand what I'm saying. But yeah, so Jordan, I'm trying to think where we should even start. I feel like it's so much stuff that I need to catch the people up on. So anyway, if you are new, welcome. And if at any point something that you hear you like, child, I don't know what y'all talking about. Just go on back through some of the episodes. just catch up because I can't throw it all out here. Okay. So let's start out with this. And we're gonna definitely come back around to you graduating. Since the last time, okay, so the last 2 years of podcast, what I could manage to get out, because it has been quite a season for me over the last 2 years. So many changes. I've done so many things. I've had so many jobs. Oh, wait. Your girl be hopping. And then it's very unlike me. That was up until 2 years ago. I was a very steady person, but your girl been moving. And so since the last time that we talked, one, I still have the same job that I had back in September. So kudos to me. I've made it a whole year.
This is new.
I made a whole year. I like what I'm doing. So that's good. But other things have happened. So the biggest thing is we moved again.
Again.
So we went from being in a house for, well, Carlos and I being in the house for 17 years. And then everything came up with him getting a new job offer. And so we decided to sell the house and move. So when we initially moved, we were in Charlotte. Charlotte, North Carolina, up on the northern side of Charlotte near Huntersville, if you're from the area. And then Carlos got a job offer in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Now, if you've been to the area, then you know that where Charlotte's sitting is like on the border of South Carolina. So when you cross out, that south side of Charlotte, you're in South Carolina. So we haven't moved, a long way away from Charlotte. But we are a long ways away from where we used to live.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Charlotte is huge. So now let's go ahead. So we leave from there. We moved from Charlotte into Fort Mill, South Carolina.
Good times.
Yeah.
So cute.
we moved there. Now, I'll be real. This was the thing for me. I want to say this. I wasn't necessarily ready to like move into Rock Hill when Carlos got the job. To be quite honest with you, I didn't know much about it, and a lot of times in Charlotte, Rock Hill kind of gets looked at as like, hold on, this is gonna come around, it's gonna be good. You look when you're from Charlotte and you haven't been here in the area, to me, I felt like Rock Hill was like small town. And I just didn't want to do that because I felt like I had all the amenities of the city. And so I wasn't ready to move all the way into Rock Hill. So Fort Mill was like a compromise for us. So like, well, look, we moved to Fort Mill and I can still hop in and out the city like I want to. That was the initial thing. Um, and while it was convenient for me a little bit, it sucked for you and your dad.
Oh, I mean, it was bad, like having like relationships with other people because I'm like, oh, well, I live 30 minutes away. So, but I mean,
It wasn't a full 30 minutes.
traffic, yeah.
Oh yeah, with traffic. So the thing was, even though y'all weren't far from the school, it's still with traffic because you're still kind of dealing with that traffic coming right up on the cusp of Charlotte on I-77. And if you're from here, that's all I have to say. I-77. Y'all already know. So y'all would be fighting a lot of traffic, which did affect you as far as like your social life with your friends because your friends all lived in Rock Hill and then
Mhm.
you would want to be down there, but it's just like coming back and forth to Fort Mill. So let's back up again. When we moved from Charlotte, when we moved to Fort Mill, we didn't jump right into a house. We were like, we don't know anything about the area. And Carlos and I felt like with our first house, we jumped in and bought that house. Thankfully, we liked it, but we didn't do any research. We didn't really do a whole lot of comparing. We went it was a new neighborhood with new construction. We liked the model house. We were like, yes, we take this. And we didn't do any comparisons. Like I didn't have any, neither he nor I had any idea like any features or certain things that we wanted in the house. We just went in that one, yes. And then looking back, we were like, we really should have done more research. So we didn't want to repeat the same thing. So we're like, well, listen, we'll move, we'll rent for the time being. So we ended up finding an apartment complex that we actually loved.
Mhm.
The pool looked like a resort with cabanas and stuff. It was a really nice apartment, and it was a change for us because we had been in the house for so long, but we enjoyed where we were. It just wasn't convenient because the twins, everything that Peyton does, gymnastics, Cam does, um, football, and so their practices were all in Rock Hill. So even though I was close to where I could get to work, pick them up from school, we were heading down to Rock Hill. And then when it's over, you're tired, you're ready to go to bed, you got to drive back up to Fort Mill, and that was just a lot. So as we got ready to come up on the lease again, so we'd actually been there coming up on 2 years, the whole last 2 years, we started looking for a house. And we had probably been in every house in Rock Hill, South Carolina that was available. And out of all those houses, we found one that we absolutely positively loved.
I hope it comes back up.
Y'all, we were searching. We go by this house. So Jordan was playing volleyball at the time. Volleyball was still in club,
Mhm.
and one of the tournaments was local, and so it was. I don't know how it ended up just being the three of us, me, you, and Peyton. Cam must have had something going on.
I think we were just looking around, so we did.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know why it was just the three of us. Like we left from the tournament. I remember
Oh,
that.
Cam probably has like football.
Yeah, Cam had to have had something. So we left, and I had been, already looking through Zillow, and I was like, oh, you know what? There was this house that I saw that has an open house, and we like, let's just ride over there to see it. Now, on the outside, it's not an ugly house. It's just very unassuming on the outside. Like
Just
it's
very
nothing.
basic.
Yes, like you wouldn't think anything of it from the outside. So we
And from
pull
the
up.
front, it doesn't look like it would like go that far back.
It didn't. So you couldn't see you couldn't really even tell any of that. So we pull up, we go in, instantly fall in love. I'm talking about, we're like, this is
Wait,
it.
no. What had happened was we found it on Zillow. We looked up the neighborhood, but they gave us the house beside it. Remember, because we looked and we were like, it looks kind of dated.
Oh, maybe that was it.
And
I
then
was
we went to go see it, and we were like,
we were blown away. I mean, you talk about love at first sight with a house upon entrance. Because on the outside, like I said, it wasn't. It's not ugly. It just didn't. The outside and the inside don't match.
mm-mm.
But we get inside. Oh, we're like, this is the house, and
It
we
had
had not
everything.
everything. It not only had everything, it had things that we didn't even know we would have wanted.
The sunroom.
Oh, the
But it
sunroom,
was huge.
huge. The house, just even the floor plan of it, like it. Part of it was very open, but then there were also parts that were like more compartmentalized, so you could do like an office and an actual dining area, but then actually also have like this whole space where you could entertain with the guest bedroom downstairs. I mean, gorgeous house. So we leave from this house, we're like, this is it. Okay. We're calling Carlos, we call Cam. Y'all got to come down here. Y'all got to see this house. We're on the phone with the realtor. This is it. This is it. Okay. We Carlos and Cam come back. They go look at it. We're like, this is it. That's it. Like everybody's in love with this house.
Like I've never seen my dad talk about a house as much as I swear he talked about it more than we did.
Yeah, he did. We were so excited. We're like, this is it. Somebody beat us to it.
And like they wouldn't treat the house the way we would.
Look, y'all, let me tell you something. They said so it ended up going had an offer. And so our realtor was like, well, I'll still call, see if they're accepting backups. And they were not. And we just did not want to take that for an answer. We're like, don't believe it.
Like at that point, we had just stopped looking for houses. Like we knew it was ours.
We were like, this is ours.
We knew it was ours.
Even after we found out somebody put an offer on it, we were like, it's not gonna go through. It's not gonna go through. So we would ride by this house
every single day. Every chance that we got, we drove past his house. And we're like, oh, look at our house. Look at our house.
Oh, we were ready. Okay. We were ready. I was like, it's going to fall through. It's not meant for them. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe they're going to decide they don't want it. Maybe they move from out of state. They're not going to want to move back here. They're not going to want to move here anymore. Like, this is ours. Okay. Go ahead and count it as done. And then they closed.
I don't think I've ever been so heartbroken ever.
I mean, the whole family was heartbroken. We
like
just
I didn't want to look for houses no more. Like that was the one that I wanted. So even now, it's like every time I drive past like the area, I'm like, oh, our house.
I know we're like that. Oh. So, I will say this though, and I'm gonna come back to talking about the house. As y'all know, a few months ago, I told y'all how I had been reading through the Bible. So I've been following a specific plan. Like I read through it once, which was great, but I didn't remember anything I read. So I went back and I found a plan. It's called the Bible Recap, and that's what I've been reading. Phenomenal. I'm on day 330 now. So, it's 365 days. I'm almost there. It's been great. But one of the things the host said on that podcast was, she said, God always answers your prayers. Like he always answers your prayers. And I think for us, when we think about God answering prayers, we think about, if we say God answered our prayers, it means we prayed for a specific thing and he gave us that exact thing. That's what we think about when we say God answered our prayer. But she said, God always answers your prayers. It's one of three answers: is yes, no, or wait. So I think sometimes we forget that no is an answer. So you say, give me an answer. Well, just because I said no didn't mean you can get an answer. You just didn't.
It's just not the one for you.
Yeah, you just didn't like the answer. So yes, no, or wait. She said, now, so God is going to do one of two things. He's either going to give you what you prayed for, or he's going to give you what you would have prayed for if you had known everything that he knows. And I was like, oh, that is good. Like sometimes we can't see the full picture. So I have to believe something is wrong with that house. That's the only thing I can think. I'm like, something was going on. Maybe one of the neighbors is not very neighborly. Maybe he's like, y'all don't even know what type of person y'all getting ready to move in beside. Or, you don't know the person that's on the other side of these trees in this backyard. You know what I mean? Like, it could be any number of things, or it could be there's another house. We don't know.
Just gotta
We
be
do.
patient.
We just got to be patient. So we just had to trust. Before we were sad, really sad. I don't think I've ever felt more like something was for me, and then so the answer was either no or wait. Only time will tell if it was just a straight up no and that's it, or wait where something happens and it comes back on the market, and who knows. But anyway, we were kind of in a little conundrum because we were determined to get to Rock Hill just because everything we do is in Rock Hill, and it was just driving back and forth of 77 was just inconvenient. So we started looking at some other houses and just boo, just no,
Nothing compared.
nothing compared. Like, and that house is just it was seen to us to be in the perfect location. Just it was like
It's in the middle.
in an established neighborhood, but also like in a great spot in Rock Hill where you can just kind of get to everything. Like, it's two major, well, they have a few major streets, but like Cherry and Celanese, you were sitting right between the two of those where you could just get to everything super quick. Like, y'all could get to school quick. I can get paid to gymnastics super quick. Can't, like, everything was just convenient. So it's in a convenient spot with restaurants, and it was just in a good space. But we were like, look, we gotta get to Rock Hill. So Carlos, like I said, we went. Okay, I have to tell this one story about this one house we went to. Y'all, I'm not joking. The number of houses that we went to,
It's
can't even count.
insane.
I can't even count. Hold on, I need a sip of water. So the final the final house that we went to look in went to one, and our realtor was like, let's go check this one out. So we go there, we go in, and the house was nice.
Is this the pretty one on the outside?
Hold on for 1 second, y'all. Why I'm getting so choked up. Okay, sorry. No, this is the one that you didn't go to, Jordan. It was me and Peyton went. Peyton and I went. I don't know where Cam was. And ended up calling your dad over to look. Now, at this point, I'm just really determined to get here. And the house was okay. We saw potential in it. You know what I mean? It was okay. Didn't move like the other one. But we went in and it was still decent. And we went out to the back and had a really nice backyard. So Peyton was back there. Like, all of a sudden, we hear these dogs. Like, what in the world? The neighbor had a lot of dogs, to the point like you couldn't see it from the street, but like had torn that grass up. It was like a dirt pit over there. But because they had a fence, you couldn't really see. But there were cracks in the fence where the dog could see through. And if he could have got through that fence, child, we would have been told. He would have told us up. Okay, so that was like, oof, this could probably be a problem. We called Carlos to tell him to come over and look at it. Because y'all, you really can't drag your feet because these houses move so quickly. So he comes over, and I can just tell from the way he came in that it was like, but also when I heard those dogs, I knew that was Carlos was like, because when we got there, the fence that was in the front was kind of short, and I was like, I think these dogs can jump over this fence, and like I don't want to be coming home every day wondering if Cujo about to hop over here, because I'm telling you, those are growling, not friendly at all. So anyway, I can just tell Carlos is really, really not sold on it. So I'm like, okay, not gonna worry about it. So we're sitting in the driveway, and Peyton and I were waiting. I was putting something in GPS. I was looking through my phone before I pulled off. I happened to look up. You know, you can just feel somebody looking at you. I was looking down. I looked up. This man was at my window. I was like, can I help you? And I was like, oh, no, I was just here looking at the house because they're out of town. And I was like, yes, but they're selling the house. And we were over here looking at it. And I don't remember what he said, so I ain't gonna make up nothing and tell a lie. But I just remember having to like tell him, like, sir, there is a big for sale sign out here in the yard. And so I would just need you to know that there are going to be people coming through here to look. But anyway, it it was just not a good encounter. And then that was the finisher for me. Like, this is definitely not the house. Cause sir, I'm not about to be dealing with you or these dogs. Okay. So we left it alone. So anyway, we are at the point where our lease is about to be up. So we have a decision to make. Are we going to renew it there? Or are we going to try to get here? So Carlos goes, well, listen, rather than us try to force it, I would rather be in an apartment that we love than in a house that we just kind of like. And we were like, okay. So he had seen some apartments and he was like, I think we'll like these. Let's go down there and check them out. We get down here. They have one left that will accommodate our family. And we're like, okay, we jump in, we apply, and everything. So let's back up one more time. My mom called. She was like, how's everything going with the house hunt? And I was like, Mom, be honest with you, I've just surrendered it to the good Lord at this point. Like, cause it just doesn't like, seems like God is blocking it at all angles. He's like, nope, 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 nope. Like that. In the minute, I said, we surrendered it. When we came down here to look at the apartment, we loved it. We applied. And when I tell you everything went so smoothly, it was like boom, 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 boom. Um, it just everything went smoothly, even with moving out of the other apartment. We didn't have any issues with the leasing office. We were able to get the full deposit back. We moved in here with no issues. And even though we really wanted a house, we love the apartment and we love where we're located. And so it's good because we can walk. So I can walk to go get coffee, and we've
Ice
walked to,
cream.
yes, we've walked to get ice cream. You walk to get food. You can walk to the bakery. And if you've ever been to Rock Hill is known for this festival in winter called Christmasville. Y'all, living in the middle of a Hallmark movie. Do you hear me? I mean, decorations everywhere. It's so pretty and people everywhere. And so it was just like really good. So even though we didn't get the house that we wanted, everything moved so smoothly for us to make the move again. And even though for the longest time I fought coming to Rock Hill, we love Rock Hill. Like,
Yes.
I don't know if I've loved living somewhere more than I've loved being here in Rock Hill. Like, genuinely love it. Like, we like Charlotte. We were there for a long time, and if anybody ever asked us about Charlotte, we were like, yeah, we loved it. And I did love it at the time, but just at this place in my life, the Rock Hill is just more my speed right now, and we love it. So how are you feeling about Rock Hill?
Okay. When they first told me we had to move, I was so heartbroken. Like, move from Charlotte to Fort Mill. So I was like, oh. So, but I feel like now I love it. Like, my social life is like so much better. I'm literally never home.
Never.
Like,
That's a boo. But go on.
like I'm always with my friends. You know, I don't have that many blocks at school. I pop over to the house, take a little nap, go back to school. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's great for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Then I would say for all of y'all had like a really good transition moving. Like, you moved, and it took you kind of a minute to kind of like break into a friend crew.
A minute.
But once you did, you just kind of had to like be patient. And then
Yeah.
sports hit and you played volleyball. And then you started meeting people. So like, you have a good group of friends. I love your friends.
Yes.
And like she said, she's never here, which I'm very sad about. But I might as well get used to it because you're leaving soon. It's so, it's so bittersweet. Well, that's a good segue. So let's just go on into that. So Jordan, you probably had I mean, of course, Carlos, but you and our relationship, um, has evolved. I feel like we've always been close, but now that you're like you grown, essentially a couple months, you will officially legally be grown. So we still have a mother-daughter dynamic, of course, but we're tight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you've kind of seen like where I've been over the last 2 years, where I've been like, you see me be to the point where one, at the school system, two, leaving, going to train, and like barely being home and kind of getting burnt out. But I loved it, but it's just like I got really burnt out. And then over these last 2 years, it's like almost like I've been trying to rediscover you who
Like what you like and who you are.
yes, it's been a process. And so you've gotten a front row seat to it. Um, I think when I was in the thick of it, I don't know if I would have thought like it was a good front row seat. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it just like you think when you get to by the time you get to a certain age, you would know who you are and what you're supposed to be doing. And I was like going through it at a very odd time.
Yeah.
Um, and so I just couldn't, understand like there were friendships that didn't make it, and things that once used to feel like a passion to me didn't feel like that anymore. And just trying to figure out like, well, God, like, and honestly, in all the moves that I made, I really felt like, God, I'm being obedient. I'm listening to that nudge that I feel like I'm getting from the Holy Spirit to like move. And why are things not going the way I thought they were going to go? This looks a lot different than I expected it. But that goes back to us, having prayers. And I think the thing that lets us down the most sometimes is we have an expectation of how things are going to look, and God has a different one. So I've really had to, over the last 2 years, learn how to lean into following his lead.
Well, I
And
feel like you going through that kinda, like, in a way, it's like you do little things, I'm like, "Oh," and it's just like it shows me, like, you have your jobs, you if you're not happy, like, it's just like the little things. I don't know. And, like,
yeah,
my friends say the same thing, but, like, whenever you see someone else go through something, it kinda, like, teaches you a lesson,
yeah.
and I think the fact that I was able to be there and see it is, like it helped me make certain decisions.
You know what? It did. Because there were certain things where I'm like, now, okay, hindsight is 2020. Like sometimes when you're in it, you can't really understand it. And so I see a couple different things. One, God removed me from certain situations, but then he allowed me to be in other situations that were like similar. And there were so many times where I almost fell into doing the same exact thing that I had done before. And it was almost like I don't think God was testing me. I think he was showing me what I had learned. You know what I mean? So giving me an opportunity to use the lessons that have been learned. So I'm like learning that I don't have to say yes to everything, and creating boundaries and being like, no.
Mhm.
you know, no. Because one of my things, I'm also reading a book, uh Dr. PBJ. I've already read the book. I'm listening to it now. I'm actually, y'all, I'm hosting, I'm emceeing a virtual book launch. By the time that this airs, the book launch will be over. So just know, like, yeah, I just hosted that. Um, the book is phenomenal. I'm gonna have her on here so we can talk about it. But her book is about burnout and about setting those boundaries. And so I just had to learn to be like, no, to a lot of things. So I think that was part of it, because I feel like whatever other things come up in life, he needs to make sure that I have those lessons down pat. Like, you need to understand how to navigate. However, I also believe, okay, this is part where I probably get emotional, but I'm pull it together. There was a time when I was just so busy. You know what I mean? And like, even when I was around y'all, I was so tired. So I just feel like I
Yeah.
wasn't even fully present. And you and I talked the other day about how there was a picture that came up. I was like a memory on Facebook, and Carlos had posted it, and it was like National Siblings Day. So you're laid across the back seat. We used to have a van, and the twins are in the two captain seat, bucket seats, whatever they're called, in the car seats. And it feels like that stage was like lasted for a long time to me. And like that was a big portion of who we were. Like that was the Richardsons. Jordan was doing something. We had the twins. They get distracted. I want to play. Mom, can I get something to eat? I want some popcorn. Like 1 minute you're there, and then the next minute we're here where you're getting ready to graduate. And so
Yeah.
I told your dad today.
Oh no. You're gonna make me cry.
This is just a different stage of parenting that honestly I just really wasn't prepared for. Like, you're not prepared to become a parent. I don't feel like anybody. I don't care how many babies you've been around in your life. Becoming a parent is like a tough transition. But then you find your way and you start figuring things out, and just being a parent becomes a part of your norm. And so, we're taking care of y'all and running behind y'all, and y'all like need us for a lot of stuff. But now it just feels like y'all don't need us as much.
Girl, I'm still quick to ask for some money. So
So like you always make me feel like a parent. You will always be asking for money. You're so right. So yeah, so I always have you to come and ask me for money, which is every day, several times a day. That's one of my prayers. God, please let me become as rich as Jordan thinks I am. Please, God, let me be as rich as Jordan thinks I am. Because I'll be a billionaire. But okay, thank you. I need to laugh. It's just like y'all don't need us the same anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's like we're in a guidance stage of parenting. Peyton walked in today, was like, "Can somebody take me to the grocery store?" So I'm just saying, like life is different. It wasn't like, "Mom, can I get a snack?" Or, "Mom, can I have some juice?" She's like, "Can somebody take me to the grocery store?"
She was very
Some
serious
ramen.
too.
And I can't drive, but I have money. So if one of y'all can take me to the grocery store, you know what I mean? So it's just like life is different, where all of you all can kind of stand on your own, and we don't need babysitters anymore. The twins are getting ready to go to middle school.
Yeah.
Parenting is different. And so I think wholeheartedly, God shook things up for a lot of I believe he shook it up for a lot of different reasons. But I think one of the reasons was so um golly, Jordan, I just started laughing. Let me laugh again. So I would cry. Wait, let me pull this up together. Uh, I wholeheartedly believe he let me slow down so I could take this stage, so I could take it in, so that I didn't miss out and end up looking back regretting
Regretting it.
that I had been so busy that I didn't even see y'all grow up. Like I think that I missed this transition, because sometimes you can just get so busy with life and with work, and it can really take over. And next thing you know, you're preparing for something and you're like, well, when did this happen? And a lot of times we don't see things as the good old days until we look back. But like I'm absolutely right now living in the good days, even when things aren't, nothing's perfect, but like I love my life with y'all.
Yeah.
So even though it's bittersweet, that I'm grateful that I'm present and that I'm aware. You know what I mean? And that I'm not working a job that I have to bring home. You know what I mean? Like if I'm being completely transparent, there's sometimes where I'm like, I think about all the experience that I have and the things that I've done and the degrees that I've earned, and I'm like, like I feel like I should be doing more. I mean, it doesn't mean that I don't want to, but also at the same time, I'm like, I'm grateful that God just gave me this time to like have a job that doesn't need me on that level. You mean like
Mhm.
somebody asked me one day, "You want the login for social media?" I was like, "No, don't give me nothing. I don't want this. Don't give me no." The answer is no. Uh,
Uh, uh,
no, I don't want no. Don't give me a login to nothing. I don't want to take that home. So for a fact, even though life looks different as far as me personally and what I'm doing and career wise doesn't look like I would have thought it would, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I love that I'm emotionally available for y'all. You know what I mean? And that I'm not coming home stressed from work, bringing it with me. You know,
Having
sometimes
to
I
get
do
a
have to.
workout plan.
Yeah, like I don't have to do that. I'm grateful that I have a job that gives me flexibility. I haven't missed a thing that y'all have done. I haven't missed a beat. Every tournament you all have,
Mm-mm.
getting you all to practice. Even though in the afternoons I feel like an Uber driver, I'm a happy Uber driver. Okay, you're good because you're at school and you can drive, and so you can kind of do that. But like, I'm not mad about the fact that I can leave work and go be one of those first people in the car ride line. I take pride in that. It's a blue truck that tries to beat me every day, but those days when I get there before him, I'm so excited. But I'm happy that I can pick the twins up from school and I can get them to their practices. And that when you have volleyball tournaments, it wasn't a matter like, am I gonna be able to go or can I get off? I'm going.
Yeah, you
And so
came to every single one of my games this year.
yeah, so like I didn't have to miss anything, and I haven't had a Sunday where I'm dreading Monday. Sometimes the Sunday comes, you're like, oh, like no, Sunday don't affect my mood. I'm happy. I'm in a good place. You want to go out and do something on a Sunday? Sign me up. Like, it's, before there's just been jobs where I feel like I needed to preserve my energy or I needed to just give myself time to mentally prepare for the week ahead, and being able to cut the job off when I walk out is one of the biggest blessings because it opened me up to y'all in a different way. Um, so having said that, I gotta find out what I'm gonna do with myself when you leave.
Be on FaceTime every day.
What am I gonna do? No, for real. I'm
Well, I
gonna be
need to
so
know where I wanna go, first of all.
well, okay, let's talk
So
about that then. First and foremost, you got accepted to Norfolk State University. Behold the green and gold. Oh, yeah. So we were super pumped about that. I went to Norfolk State. Your daddy went to Norfolk State. Your
a lot of
uncles,
people went.
your uncles went to Norfolk State. So like we're deep with like our friends here who are like family. Norfolk State.
My
And Norfolk
tutor
State has who?
I said my tutor's daughter.
Oh yeah, your tutor's daughter. So we had to get a tutor for statistics. Child, that's another story for another day. But we got through. We passed statistics. Praise the Lord Jesus. But Jordan wants to go for nursing, and Norfolk State has an amazing nursing program. Um,
Yep.
Downside is it's like 6-7
6
hours away.
hours.
Oh. But closer to like grandparents, like they could still get to you in a decent amount of time. But you've applied to a lot of other places. So like how are you, let them know. I know how you're feeling, but like how are you feeling right now as you kind of wait to hear from some other schools?
Well, Norfolk State was one of my top choices, but I just think, like, I'm just anxious to know. Like, I feel like me getting into a school could affect, like, something else, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I think my top 2 would be USC or Norfolk State.
And so
So
we're still
now that I'm having to wait until March for USC, is kinda like, what do I do? Because my best friends are going there, so I'm like, well, I don't know.
so if you get the yes from USC, where you going?
I don't know. I
In
think
your heart,
after
I
I
think
go
you do know.
no, I think, I need to go tour Norfolk because 'cause I've been on a dad tour, so it's kinda like we just drive around, we pull on some doors, hope the doors are open. We somehow walked the entire, like, athletic dorm. We end up in the gym. So it's like I've never had an actual tour. It's just kinda like open up the door and just tell the people you work here. Like, it
If y'all didn't hear what she said a dad tour. That's when we take tours with Carlos to places we go and we don't have an official tour. And Carlos just always tells us, look like you belong. So we go places and he's just like, well, we just gonna walk in, but you can't be looking scared like you ain't supposed to be there. You gotta walk in and look like you belong. So
I'll
we
never
had to take
forget,
dad
we go to
tours.
Clemson. I think I don't know what for, but I don't know why we were at Clemson, but we're walking around the football field. Somehow we end up down by the locker rooms. They're decorating for something. He opens up the door and asks the man, "Oh, what are y'all doing in here?" And the guy tells him, I think he gave, like, Cameron a free hat. I was like I had no idea.
Uh, yeah. So you need to take a tour. So we've been to Norfolk State several times, but it's always just like us and like she said, we just pulling on doors and seeing what we can get, where we can get in. So we need like an official tour so you can really get a feel, for what it has to offer. Um, and look at the dorms and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
However, we did go to USC. Me and Peyton went to USC for the weekend or for a weekend. They had an open house. Um, and I love the campus.
It's
Campus is
real
beautiful.
pretty.
I
Only
love that
thing
it's close.
I don't really know about the dorms, but
Well, that's my biggest thing. That ain't my biggest thing. My biggest thing with them is tuition. My gosh. Like,
I
so
know.
initially we were like, Jordan, if we're talking about tuition, staying in state, your tuition is lower, but child price, we were like, well, look, with this price, you can look out of state.
I've
So that's when
applied
we
to
opened up the
Florida
options.
schools and everywhere.
It was like, well, Jordan, your options have officially opened there. But I love the campus and I selfishly love that it's close. That's like an
An
hour.
hour.
Yeah. So like we can get to you when you want to and you can come home when you want to. So there's that. My only thing about USC is just the dorm situation.
But we
Yes.
only did see, like, one, though, because
Well,
we
no,
didn't
not
wanna go we didn't look in the other one.
well, I'm not talking about how they look. Like,
Oh, like the years, like, you can only stay in your freshman year.
yeah, so I'm just like, freshman year, you're good, but then like, are we going to be scrambling every year after trying to figure out what the housing situation is? I feel like part of the college experience is staying in the dorm, but I'm older, so it might not be the same for everybody. But I feel like that's how you really get the full experiences being on campus.
I
I
think it's
stay,
still on campus, but it's just, like, the campus apartments.
yeah. So I don't know that was my only thing, but I think if you get the USC, that's where you're gonna go.
I don't know.
I
Okay, and
feel like
also, like, if I could, I would go towards some schools in Florida because I did apply to some Florida schools
yeah,
just for fun.
yeah.
But
Listen, y'all, it's fun when it's not your money that you spending for the application. Every time I turn, I need money for this application. I need so this one like just take the card number, girl, and just do it. So, pling, your card is enjoyed. Pling, pling. Like the applications ain't free. So yeah, so she was just doing them for fun. Uh, but I mean, it's exciting. I'm excited for you. Your dad said
yeah.
today. He said, so I was having a moment in the car. I didn't cry though. And we were talking about just how this shift just happens with kids. Like you go from being in this place where y'all need us for everything to where y'all really need us for the basics. Make sure you pay to keep this roof over your head, put a little food in the belly. For Cameron and Peyton, we have to make sure they get where they're going. But I mean, you drive, you take yourself everywhere that you need to go. And he was like, Jordan, he said, Jordan has evolved. She's grown up and she's just at that point where she's outgrown high school. That's what he said. He said that today. He was like, she's just mature. He said high school is beneath her. He was just like, he said it's just time. Like you can just see the shift in her where, you know, she just needs us for a resource. He's like, but she's ready to step into the world for herself. And I was like, yes, you are correct. And then I kind of had an attitude because I don't want to talk about it anymore. Somebody tell you to say that. Yeah, so we're super proud of you. You're all of y'all, we tell you all the time, we've been blessed. Y'all are really great children. Who we love because you're our children, but who we genuinely like. Like we like y'all.
But
So
also, I feel like us moving into apartment as a family, like, made us closer because we, like,
ah,
had to be around each other.
yes,
Because we
Jordan.
were in the house, we were all, like, very like, we talked, but I don't think like, I've never been this close with the twins. Like, me and the twins actually, like, will sit in my room or sit in their room, and we'll actually, like, talk and have conversations about their life, and they got a lot going on in their little lives. Let me tell you, but
They do. They do. They're little social people.
yeah, but I think us moving into an apartment definitely brought us all closer as a family.
I I agree. I agree. There are some times when we're all sitting together, like, in the little common area, and I'm like, I just don't know in a house. I mean, you want to say you would, but it's just that because you don't have, a upstairs, downstairs, a man cave, like because we kind of just gather in the common area, we spend a lot more time together. And I agree with you, Jordan. I feel like even though
Yeah.
we were already close, it just feels like it has brought us even closer. And it has driven home, people always say home is where the heart is. And it is true. I'm like, it's not about the physical house. It's about like where your heart really is and being around the people that you love, doing things that you love. So all of us doing this together, going from a house to an apartment to another apartment, and just having to learn different areas, and like all of us have had to make changes, especially y'all. Like, because for when we left Charlotte and moved to Fort Mill, you went to a new school because you went with Carlos, and then the twins went to a new school. But then when we decided to move to Rock Hill, the twins had to go to another
To
school
go to another new school.
again, and they love it. you know, they have their friends, and they're like, oh, it's been a lot of things at the school that they've liked, and they love the school that they came from Fort Mill. So that was part of my hesitation too. Was like, oh my gosh, they love this school so much, and they made so many friends, and now we're gonna move them again. But we just trusted and stepped out on faith. We came down to the school, toured it, met the principal, so they got to come down, meet the principal, and get a tour of the school before we came. And then we ended up finding out people that we knew worked there. So um it's just been good. But in doing that transition together, I feel like it's just brought us closer.
But I also think, um, I don't play any sports anymore. I'm retired.
Yes.
Um, I think me not playing a sport definitely slowed me down to where I'm able to hang out with my friends and my family, but I also think, like, if I'd have been playing club right now, like, it would have been very hectic.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think, like, you having to slow down in your job and being able to spend time with family, like, when I really thought about it, I was like, "Ugh, I can't do this every day." And it's like it's, like, super expensive to not wanna go some days.
Yeah.
It's just like
You darn right.
yeah,
This tick costs too much for you. You need to love this.
yeah, but I think, like, seeing you do the things that you do definitely, like, influences what I do and, like, I don't know, it just, like, feeds into me, Like,
Yeah.
I like school volleyball. It I had fun in the beginning. Some stuff just it wasn't meant to be, and I think I was telling other people, like, "I don't like, I can't do this anymore." I was getting people talking in my head, like, "You're a quitter, like, don't quit, you need to finish." But truly, like, you've gotta do what's best for you.
Yeah.
And I've seen you do stuff like that, and I'm like, "Well, it's okay to be selfish sometimes and do what you need to do for yourself." and protect your own peace. So I was just like it's not
Mhm.
for me, and I think it was like a sign completely because I think if I would have finished out this season, I would have wanted to play club, but I think not playing has made me closer to y'all and my friends
Yeah.
because I was very busy all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, so if you didn't know, again, if you're new, Jordan played competitive volleyball. And she's been playing not only at school level but club. So we travel a lot. Like Jordan, volleyball has taken us in a lot of places in the country for tournaments, and I loved it. You know, I loved every
Mhm.
minute of it. That's one of the highlights of my life. Um, However, it came with some cons because one, Jordan, she's above average in height for volleyball, she's not above average.
I
So
am
in the
like as
regular
small
world,
as it gets.
yeah, in the regular world, she's above average for height. So you're around 5'7", 5'8". I'm barely hitting 5'5", so you're above average. But your position, because of your athleticism, you play outside hitter, lots of jumping. And because of that, because of your height, when you jump up with your vertical coming down, it's like constant pounding on your knees. So your knees had already been bothering you. That had already been an issue. Um, we weren't doing home remedies. We were taking you to doctors, and at one point during the that last club season, you had to sit out for 3 weeks because he was like, the only thing that's gonna help is rest. That's it. Like nothing else. Like he gave some stuff for you to, put on and told us some things to do, but rest was it. And then when it came time for school, your knees had started bothering you again. And in addition to your knees bothering you, you just had some other things going on, and you were just in a space of being like, look, I'm in statistics.
Oh,
I'm
that
I'm
took me
focused on
out.
college right now. My knees are bothering me so horribly. We have other things going on. And you were just like, look, I'm just ready to kind of let this season go. And you had
Yeah.
already made the decision before that, like that you did not want to play club this year. Um, which was bittersweet. But you made that decision and we supported you in that. And then when it came time for volleyball, you just like, just at this point, for me, it was physical stuff too. I'm like, I don't want you to be 17 and can barely squat down to pick something up off of the floor because your knees will bother you so bad. I mean, you would wake up and watching you walk was like painful for me to watch. And then, like I said, some other things happened and we won't have to go into detail, but you were just like, two
I don't
fingers
have
up,
to
I'm
take
out.
this from certain people. Like, I just learned that in my life. Like, I don't have to take like, you can say whatever you wanna say. Once I've made my mind up, I've made my mind up.
Yeah.
So, I've made it up, and but I think I needed that to happen because I was already having some, I feel like I just kinda needed a reason, and the the
Yeah.
reason was given to me, so I was like, "Imma take it, Imma jump,"
Yeah. I was
and it
proud of
was
you.
the
I'm
best
proud of the way you
decision.
handled it. You handled the situation very well, and then just the conversation that we had, after that was just like, I know I'll tell you one of the things I'm most proud of with you is and you'll continue to grow and evolve and change, we all do, but you have a very strong sense of self. You have a strong sense of faith, and, like, I'm grateful that you have that. So for you, you was like, "I know who God made me to be, and I do not have to conform." I mean, you've kinda always been like that. I don't have to conform. I don't have to try to fit in. I don't have to try to, it's that's not your thing. And that you know your worth. And so you be like, "Mm-mm, child, step to me correct, don't step at all. Respect only over in this way. Disrespect will not be tolerated. I know who I am. I will, walk away from situations that I know are no longer good for me. Um, and I'm proud of you." So,
Thank
and
you.
then when you told me you were like, I mean, it's a joke between us, but it's just like, I will roll.
Yeah, it's like, my mama did it, so I can too.
So I'm
It was
glad that
taught
you're
me.
paying attention.
Yeah, but I think, you just gotta when you make your decisions for yourself, you just can't worry about what other people are gonna think. Like, when I stopped playing, I truly felt like a celebrity who was getting, backlash from everybody coming up to me asking me, like, "Why would you do that?" And, "You're gonna let your team down," and I'm just like
You know what though, Jordan? Your dad, and I both said it. We were like, when you stepped away and made that decision on your own, um, you could just sense this. We could feel the liberation of it for you. And just in the space that your life is now, you are like, when I talk about living it up,
But I feel like I'm trying
YOLO.
to make up for the years that I wasn't able to do, like, the
Yeah,
stuff that I can do now. Like, I never in the years that I've played since my freshman year have been able to just hang out with people and, like, do
yeah,
what I wanna do and, you know, like, we can go on trips, we can travel, we don't have to worry about my schedule and working around me. It's like I
yeah,
can do whatever.
yeah.
So,
You oh,
I was
I
able to
lo
focus on school because I come home from practice tired, like, not doing any kind of work, not even gonna sit here and lie, and I'd go straight to sleep. So it's
yeah.
like
Student athlete life is tough. And then you already knew that, so you had already made it very clear to your father and I'm not trying to play on the collegiate level, so
No.
don't y'all even get your hopes up. I'm good. I'm stepping down after this. So it's been fun to watch you, just enjoy your social life and hanging out with your friends and being able to make plans for the weekends and going to sleepovers and y'all go to the movies and hey, we just gonna go hang out. We gonna go shopping and get some food. Um, that's been fun, and I've been happy to see you be able to do that. And in addition to that, then she was like, "Yeah, you know what? I will be one of the managers for the basketball
Who
team."
woulda knew? But I think listen, watching them, like, I was sitting there in practice just, like, daydreaming about myself playing basketball, and then I see them run, and I'm like but I like being I like feeling like I'm a part of a team.
Yeah,
Like, I like that they depend on me for things.
yeah,
And that's how I felt with, like, volleyball, like, you have to pull your weight. So I feel like in a sense, I'm pulling my weight, but also I'm making new friends. I never would have thought I would have been girls basketball friends or
yeah,
like,
yeah,
like and then I know the coaches. I'm close with the coaches, so I think it's like it was good. And I think I needed that, like
yes,
that team like feeling.
yes. And I'm happy that you have it because you really enjoyed it. And your dad was like, "Now listen, being a manager, this ain't no, this is serious business." Because the girls basketball team especially is very good. And he was just like, this is not a little cutesy job. Like you taking on a job, like you agreeing to go to practices, make sure these uniforms are washed, making sure they got everything that they need, laying down everything. And you're like, yeah, okay. Um, and sometimes it is fun to be in a team atmosphere without like the pressure to perform in a sense.
Yeah.
And so that's fun. And I get it, because that's kind of how I feel right now with my job. I'm like, I'm not, I am okay. That's something I am like training again. However, in a resident sub status. If you need me, call me. I'll hop on the mic. And I don't think I shared that on the last one. So like, I don't think I had done it then. I have been back on the mic training, but very sporadically. There was one of the trainers, coaches, where we are, that's what it's called, had to go out for major surgery, certified, and I got experience. And so I was able to step in and help the team while she was out. Which was cool, but when she got back, I was like, "Here you go. You can have your microphone back." And the people like, "You didn't miss it." And I was like, it feels like being a grandparent. You know what I mean? Like I like to get in there and get a little touch and okay, going back to your parents. But it's the same as you. It's like I still, just because I'm not training, just because I'm not the person on the mic, I still want to be around it. You know what I mean? I still want to be a part of fitness. I still want to be on the team. I still enjoy serving people. And I'm like you like, I love the stuff that you like. You love the stuff that you do for a manager. And I love the stuff that I do. And I'm not on the mic anymore. And I'm happy to be, I was joking. And I told one of the coaches the other day, I was like, I'm fine being Robin. I don't have to be Batman. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't need to be Batman. I'm happy being Robin.
Behind the scenes.
Yes.
But, I don't need everybody to know that I'm doing it. Like, the people that I'm helping, like, they appreciate I don't need everybody else to be like, "Oh my god." Like, they know what I'm
Yes.
doing for them, so it's just like, it's fun.
I get that, Jordan. Like I genuinely get that was seriously, I get that. And I think that's the thing I think you and I enjoy the same thing. So like
Yeah.
I like showing up for people and doing what I can and helping to bring a good vibe and have a good personality and keep things live and make people feel good and help out how I can. But I don't have to be that main character in the situation. So I'm glad
Yeah.
that you enjoyed it. I feel that on another level.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, so Jordan, I think we should do a couple, this won't be the last time that you'll be on here. I think we need to, have you back on. But I wanted to come on just to do that, just to kind of catch up. And it was fun to have you here. But we're about to do some other things. So the podcast will continue to, be about life. Um, but I'm just really trying to like share more because I am in that phase of, my mom had said something to me the other day. Um, and I was like, I felt like it was like kind of like a little come to Jesus meeting in a very loving way. And she was like, so, like, what are your goals for 2024? What does Jamaica have in store? And I'm like, and she was like, well, let me say this. I see how you show up for the kids and for the family and how you support us. And I think it's amazing. And I'm so grateful that you're able to do that. But at the same time, I also want to make sure that you don't forget yourself. And, in the midst of supporting other people's passions, I just want to make sure that you are not letting, your passion die. Like, what's the thing that makes you excited? What's the thing, that you want to work towards, just kind of finding that thing. And I was like, you're right. Like, you're right. And, who am I not to take advice from another mother who has, been through those stages? So I think she was just kind of, she could see that phase that we're in where the kids start to grow up and move out and do their own thing. And she's just like, you want to be able to kind of have something that you do and you enjoy. So I want to start looking for that. I think, the name of the podcast is Looking for My Fit. So
Yeah.
I need to start looking for my fit in a lot of ways, including like with my clothes. I put on a pair of jeans the other day and a sweatshirt that said cheers in different colors. It looked like very holiday like. And I was getting ready to run to Target. And Cam said, where you going? And I was like, oh, we're going to run up to Target. Why are you so dressed up? I said, Lord Jesus, if jeans and this little sweatshirt is dressing up, I have got to step my wardrobe game up. But this is stuff that I just, I kind of lost my step in that. And there are a couple other little things. I just want to, explore life so that as you all get older and continue to have these blossoming social lives and things that you want to do, that I'm not over here looking like Frumpty Humpty Dumpty and feeling lost because I don't know how to do anything else. I've been taking care of y'all, which is an honor and a blessing. But again, in a different stage, y'all don't need me like that. So I think it is time that I really do start to look for my fit in a lot of different ways. And so as I go through and do that, that'll be part of what we're sharing. And Jordan's going to help me look for my fit. She prepares to leave the nest and leave me here. I'm joking. I love you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah. So
I
anyway,
can't.
just we are the podcast is back. And that is have been one of my things that I wanted to focus on moving into the new year, is just being more consistent and making sure that I'm getting out a podcast every week. And so you've heard it here. The podcast is back and we'll have an episode dropping every week, and I'm excited about it. So I hope that your new year is off to a great start. Hope that life has been treating you well, and I hope that you are ready to come along and enjoy the journey and the laughs and all the stuff that we share here on the podcast. Jordan, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. You can come on here anytime that you want to, but you'll be making some more appearances. And your dad's going to be on here later too, because he and I have some things to talk about and share. Okay, well, y'all, love y'all. So glad that y'all tuned in. Go ahead, if you have not already, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you turn on notifications so that every time a new episode comes out, you'll get that pop up on your phone to say, hey, there's a new episode of the Looking for My Fit podcast. But as always, thanks for tuning in. And guys, we will catch you on the next episode. Bye. Listen, I can't have you all missing out on episodes. I appreciate you all being here, and I want you to stay here. So before you leave, go ahead, click that subscribe button so you'll be the first to know when the next episode drops. I'll see y'all then.
Looking for my fit is what I do. Looking for my fit, looking for my fit, yeah. Looking for my fit, looking for my fit, yeah. Looking for my fit, looking for my fit, yeah. Looking for my fit, looking for my